No Fear in the Garden, the Jalen Brunson story, Chapter 1, the Underdog blueprint. The city of New York has a complicated love affair with basketball. It doesn't just like its stars, it tests them. It doesn't cheer until it's short. Broadway isn't a stage you step onto. It's one you survive. And no one understood that better than Jalen Brunson. He wasn't supposed to be the savior. When the Knicks signed him in 2022, there were questions. Criticism. Pundits laughed at the contract. Said he was good, not great. A role player, not a franchise guy. They said New York was too big, too brutal for someone who didn't come with a superstar label. But Brunson? He's always been a slow burn. Roots of steel. Born in New Brunswick, New Jersey, raised in Illinois, Jalen had the game in his blood. His father, Rick Brunson, carved out an 8-year career on grit alone. That was the blueprint. Jalen wasn't flashy as a kid, he was fundamental. He didn't care about mixtapes or Instagram followers. He cared about winning. At Villanova, under coach Jay Wright, he built a reputation: steady, clutch, impossible to rattle. He led the Wildcats to 2 NCAA championships, won National Player of the Year, and walked into the NBA with a resume heavier than most, but still, he fell to the second round in the 2018 draft. Underrated. Again. He went to Dallas and backed up Luka. Played his role. Waited his turn. And when that moment came in the 2022 playoffs, he dropped 41 points in a must-win game without Luka in the lineup. A statement. A warning. The Garden bet signing with the Knicks wasn't a move, it was a message. He wanted the pressure. He wanted the city. He wanted to prove that winning could be built with toughness and heart, not just highlights. By 2024-25, the numbers did the talking. Right pointing arrow 26.1 ppg, 7.4 assists, 40% from 3. Right pointing arrow clutch player of the year, the first Knick to win that award. Right pointing arrow top 10 in scoring, top 5 in late game efficiency. Right pointing arrow a second straight all-star nod. But stats only tell half the story. Ask anyone who's watched him take over games in the final minutes. When the Garden goes quiet and time starts to bend, Brunson comes alive. Calm. Calculated. Deadly. The Pistons series then came April 2025. The playoffs. The real test. Game 1 at the Garden was chaos. The Knicks trailed double digits. Detroit looked young and fearless, with Cade Cunningham carving up the defense. But Brunson didn't panic. He never panics. He orchestrated a 21-0 run that flipped the game on its head. The Garden erupted. Game 1, Knicks. But the playoffs are never a straight road. Game 2 was a Detroit revenge tale. Cade dropped 33. Jalen answered with 37 of his own, a symphony of floaters, mid-range killers, and big-time threes. But the Knicks came up short. Now it's 1-1. Now it's war. Next man up mentality. Game 3 looms. In Detroit. Hostile crowd. High stakes. Julius Randle. Out with injury. The pressure. All on Jalen's shoulders. But this is where he thrives, with flash, but with fundamentals. The head fake. The pivot. The step through. The unguardable floater. He's the kind of player who rewrites tempo, who doesn't need 45 inches of vertical to tear your heart out in the fourth quarter. Tonight, he steps on the court not as an underdog, but as the heartbeat of a team, a city, a moment. Legacy in progress. There's something poetic about how Jalen Brunson plays, like he's composing something bigger than just games. Maybe it's because he's not trying to be the guy. He's trying to build something that lasts. Something gritty. Something real. In a league obsessed with hype, Jalen Brunson is substance. In a city that demands proof, he's giving him everything. And this story, it's just getting started.